Welcome, dear listeners, to History with Herodotus, where we embark on a journey through the vast expanse of human experience, seeking to understand the intricacies of our past and the boundless wonders that have shaped our world. Today, we find ourselves at the threshold of a most extraordinary tale: the space race and the moon landing, an epic endeavor that would captivate the imagination of humanity and propel us into the cosmos. As we delve into this fascinating narrative, let us begin by setting the stage for the origins of this remarkable story. The space race, as it came to be known, was a culmination of decades of innovation, experimentation, and exploration in the fields of rocketry, astronomy, and physics. To truly understand the genesis of this phenomenon, we must journey back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries, when visionaries such as Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, Robert Goddard, and Hermann Oberth laid the theoretical foundations for space travel. In the frozen landscapes of rural Russia, Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, a self-taught mathematician and physicist, spent countless hours pondering the mysteries of the cosmos. His groundbreaking work on rocket propulsion, published in 1903, would later inspire generations of scientists and engineers to pursue the dream of space exploration. Meanwhile, in the United States, Robert Goddard, a brilliant physicist and engineer, conducted pioneering experiments with liquid-fueled rockets, achieving the first successful launch on March 16, 1926, in Auburn, Massachusetts. As the world teetered on the brink of chaos in the 1930s and 1940s, the pursuit of space travel became increasingly intertwined with the development of military technology. The German rocket program, led by Wernher von Braun, produced the V-2 rocket, a technological marvel that would later play a crucial role in the space race. On October 3, 1942, the first successful launch of a V-2 rocket took place at the Peenemünde Army Research Center in Germany, marking a significant milestone in the history of space exploration. In the aftermath of World War II, the United States and the Soviet Union engaged in a fierce competition to acquire German rocket technology and expertise. The capture of Wernher von Braun and his team by American forces in May 1945 would prove to be a pivotal moment in the space race, as they would later contribute to the development of the Saturn V rocket that carried astronauts to the moon. As we approach the dawn of the space age, the Soviet Union, under the leadership of Joseph Stalin, began to invest heavily in its own space program. On October 4, 1957, the Soviets launched Sputnik, the first artificial satellite, into orbit around the Earth, sending shockwaves across the globe and marking the beginning of the space race. The successful launch of Sputnik was followed by the launch of Laika, a Soviet space dog, aboard Sputnik 2 on November 3, 1957, demonstrating the feasibility of launching living creatures into space. In response to the Soviet challenge, the United States established NASA on July 29, 1958, with the signing of the National Aeronautics and Space Act by President Dwight D. Eisenhower. T. Keith Glennon, a seasoned administrator, was appointed as the first director of NASA, tasked with coordinating the American effort to explore space. As we reach the end of this segment, we find ourselves poised on the cusp of a new era, where the space race is about to enter its most intense and dramatic phase. The stage is set for a competition that would captivate the world, as two superpowers engage in a high-stakes game of technological one-upmanship, each seeking to outdo the other in the pursuit of lunar conquest. Welcome back to History with Herodotus, where we continue our journey through the epic tale of the space race and the moon landing. As we left off in our previous segment, the stage was set for a high-stakes competition between the United States and the Soviet Union, each seeking to outdo the other in the pursuit of lunar conquest. The year 1959 marked a significant turning point in the space race, as the Soviets launched Luna 2, the first spacecraft to impact the moon's surface, on September 14. This achievement was followed by the launch of Luna 3, which successfully imaged the moon's far side, providing unprecedented insights into the lunar geography. The United States responded with the launch of Ranger 4, which impacted the moon's surface on April 26, 1962, and returned valuable data about the lunar environment. As the space race intensified, both superpowers began to focus on manned spaceflight. On April 12, 1961, Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin became the first human to journey into outer space aboard the Vostok 1 spacecraft. His historic flight lasted 108 minutes, orbiting the Earth once and reaching a maximum altitude of 327 kilometers. The United States followed suit on May 5, 1961, with the launch of Freedom 7, carrying astronaut Alan Shepard on a suborbital flight that lasted just over 15 minutes. The Kennedy administration, recognizing the strategic importance of space exploration, set a bold goal in 1961 to land a man on the moon before the end of the decade. This challenge, announced by President John F. Kennedy on September 12, 1962, would become the driving force behind the American space program. NASA's Gemini program, which ran from 1961 to 1966, played a crucial role in developing the necessary technologies and techniques for manned spaceflight, including orbital rendezvous, docking, and extravehicular activity. The Soviet Union, however, continued to push the boundaries of space exploration. On June 16, 1963, cosmonaut Valentina Tereshkova became the first woman in space, spending almost 3 days aboard the Vostok 6 spacecraft. The Soviets also achieved a major milestone on October 12, 1964, with the launch of Voskhod 1, which carried the first multi-person crew into space. As we reach the midpoint of the 1960s, the space race is in full swing, with both superpowers engaged in a frenetic pace of innovation and exploration. The United States is making steady progress towards its goal of landing a man on the moon, while the Soviet Union continues to surprise the world with its achievements in space. In the United States, NASA's Apollo program is gaining momentum, with the first successful uncrewed test flight of the Saturn V rocket on November 9, 1967. The Soviets, meanwhile, are developing their own lunar landing program, with the Nun L3 mission aimed at sending cosmonauts to the moon. Welcome back to History with Herodotus, where we conclude our journey through the epic tale of the space race and the moon landing. As we left off in our previous segment, the stage was set for the most dramatic and historic moments of the space race to unfold. On July 20, 1969, NASA's Apollo 11 mission made history when astronauts Neil Armstrong and Edwin Buzz Aldrin became the first humans to set foot on the moon's surface. The lunar module Eagle touched down on the moon's surface in the Sea of Tranquility, while Michael Collins remained in orbit around the moon in the command module Columbia. Armstrong's iconic words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," echoed across the globe as people from all walks of life watched in awe. The Soviet Union, despite its significant achievements in space exploration, had fallen behind in the lunar landing race. The Nun L3 mission, aimed at sending cosmonauts to the moon, was plagued by technical issues and delays. On July 3, 1969, just 17 days before the Apollo 11 moonwalk, the Soviet Union attempted to launch an unmanned lunar rover called Lunokhod 1, but it failed to reach orbit due to a rocket malfunction. The success of the Apollo 11 mission marked a triumphant moment for the United States and NASA. The Apollo program went on to achieve 5 more manned landings on the moon, with the last one being Apollo 17 in December 1972. The Soviet Union, however, continued to explore space with notable achievements such as the launch of the Salyut 1 space station in 1971 and the Venera program, which successfully landed spacecraft on Venus. As the space race came to an end, both superpowers began to shift their focus towards more collaborative efforts in space exploration. In 1975, the United States and the Soviet Union launched the Apollo-Soyuz test project, a historic mission that saw astronauts and cosmonauts working together in space for the first time. The legacy of the space race extends far beyond the achievements of the Apollo program, or the Soviet space program. It marked a pivotal moment in human history when two superpowers engaged in a peaceful competition that drove innovation, pushed technological boundaries, and inspired generations to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Today, as we look back on the space race, we remember the bravery and determination of the astronauts, cosmonauts, engineers, and scientists who worked tirelessly to achieve the impossible. We also recognize the significance of this era in shaping our understanding of space exploration and its potential for advancing human knowledge. As we conclude our journey through the epic tale of the space race and the moon landing, we are reminded that the spirit of exploration and discovery that defined this era continues to inspire us today. The challenges and triumphs of the past serve as a testament to human ingenuity and our capacity to push beyond the boundaries of what is thought possible. And so, dear listeners, we bid farewell to this chapter in human history. But we look forward to exploring more fascinating stories and eras in the world of history. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the space race and the moon landing. Until next time, farewell. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.